Good morning or good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, X-Rite Pantone and Esko and AVT, a packaging superforce to conquer consistency and print quality. My name is Stephanie Krieger. I'm a Global Solutions Program Manager with X-Rite Pantone, and I will be your moderator for today's webinar. During the webinar, we will keep everyone muted. However, you will have the opportunity to submit text questions to the presenter by typing your questions into the control panel. You may send in your questions at any time during the presentation, and we will collect these and then address them at the end of the presentation. You will also receive a follow-up email within 48 hours with a link to view a recording of today's webinar. I would like to introduce the presenter, Cindy Cooperman. Cindy is X-Rite Pantone's VP of Global Brand Strategic Accounts, which is focused on delivering value to FMCG brands through the packaging supply chain, including designers, pre-media partners, packaging converters, and ink companies in the area of print and color quality, as well as color standards. The team helps brands and X-Rite Pantone's partners adopt new technologies in practical and profitable ways. We also have Garrett DeProst from Esko and Aviram Vardy from AVT on the webinar as well. All three of these participants will be willing to answer questions at the end of the presentation. And now I'll hand it over to you, Cindy.
Hi, thanks, Stephanie, and thank you for joining us today. We're going to take some time to talk about connecting the packaging value chain, and what does that mean to us here at all of the operating companies that Stephanie was talking about, which is Pantone, Esko, X-Rite, and AVT. To get things started, what we'd like to do is share with you a video that we have created that really explains the value of connecting these and the three specific connections that we're going to be talking to you about today, and that you'll be able to see coming up very shortly here at events like Label Expo and Comexi. If you haven't already seen them, because we did actually showcase and premiere some of them at Esko World a couple of months ago. So let's take a minute here and have a look.
Cindy, there doesn't appear to be any volume coming through on the video.
And quality control software to inline press inspection. That further improves the machine.
Here, let me restart that. Sorry about that little technical error.
Providing the world with a language for color, simplifying the entire package design and production process, advancing the creation and delivery of color, using machine vision to improve the quality of packaging and labels. 4 companies delivering purpose-built technologies for concept ideation, design, and packaging. Together, these companies are greater than the sum of their parts. With our combined technologies and expertise, we're harnessing the power of intelligent connections to reimagine the packaging workflow. We've connected workflow automation to inline inspection, saving operators all that data reentry. We've connected industry-leading color management and quality control software to inline press inspection. That further improves machine setup time and uses a common software for color management. We've connected packaging management systems to color specification and quality control used in production, allowing you to pass valuable data seamlessly between points in a workflow, and creating an unprecedented level of visibility and traceability for brands and their suppliers. We understand the power of working together, which is why we want to enable our customers to collaborate in new, better ways. Our vision is a connected ecosystem that drives value, a place where incremental time savings stack up to make big impacts, where people can focus their attention on the tasks that matter most, where organizations are empowered to be more responsive than ever before. Pantone, Esko, X-Rite, and AVT. Together, we create stronger connections in the packaging value chain.
So as you can see, there's a number of opportunities to connect these different systems that a lot of you are already using today from the different companies, AVT, Esko, and X-Rite. So the first one that I would like to speak to you about is introducing what we call AutoSet, and that is connecting AVT inspection systems with Esko's automation engine. So how does it work today? Well, today, there are a series of steps, really, that an operator would need to go through when setting up a job in Esko Automation Engine. And then we can see on the other side of the screen another series of steps that would also be followed in the AVT inspection. And as you start to read through them, you see that there is some commonality between these steps. And what that does is that really creates an opportunity to eliminate some redundancy in job setup. So by connecting the two with AutoSet, what we are able to do is really eliminate a lot of the data re-entry or resetting up of information between the two different systems. And as you can see here, there's really a great opportunity to eliminate most of the steps. And our ultimate goal really is to be able to eliminate all of them where possible. And so what you'll see coming from us soon is also the ability to integrate even further than what we're able to do with this first introductory step. So the value of doing this really is what we call higher accuracy in the quality setup and in automation. So this means time that can be saved, leading to more press up time. You can look at it in terms of per shift, which would be about 30 to 60 minutes. And by not having to rekey information, it also reduces any opportunity for human error. And this, of course, also increases efficiency. So no data duplicates, no extra labor, and no people having to look back and forth between information to make sure that they've got it right. They get it right the first time and then are able to share that information between the systems. Introducing X-Rite Color Cert and the AVT SpectraLab connectivity. So what we're looking at here is this is connecting the X-Rite Color Cert and AVT. So a job can start in Color Cert as it normally would today for somebody who's using that. And that begins with the creation of the Color Cert job. So it will have a color bar and it can be uploaded to a shared folder. From there, an operator uploads the CCJ, or that Color Cert job, from the shared folder, and they're able to identify the location of a color bar within the work. Moving on through the steps, the operator's mark of the color bar and SpectraLab automatically can identify those color patches and the targets that they're supposed to be matching to. Then the SpectraLab continues on. It will measure all of those color patches and then feed that information back to Color Cert, where Color Cert can then take that measurement data and do everything that it does today, which is looking at it, scoring it, and then submitting it after the operator's gotten that feedback that they might need, and then they can score and submit it to a scorecard server. Now, the benefit of doing this is certainly there's some minimizing some of the job setup time when we're in the production side of things, but it also is giving us more immediate data or near real-time understanding of color performance, and it allows reporting of SpectraLab's color measurements into the Color Cert scorecard. And this is a really, I think, big point, because what we really get a lot of feedback on is the ability to be able to take data from different color measurement equipment that people may have, to be able to feed into, in a more automated way, into Color Cert and be able to get that scoring. And it's very important to point out that SpectraLab is an XRGA device, so you'll be able to use it interchangeably with some other equipment that you may have, if you have, for instance, an Exact handheld. But now you're able to take that data directly. And this also simplifies reporting for brand owners. So they're able to get information all collated in one place and use a common tool set. The third story, or the third connection that we're introducing is X-Rite Color Cert and the Esko Web Center connectivity. So similar to the previous one that we were talking about, in this scenario, artwork project management or packaging project management, really a lot of these jobs originate in Web Center. So what's known about the job really is set up, and that information already exists there. And so this creates an opportunity for us to be able to take that data that is already in a Web Center, already known about a job, and be able to pass it through to the Color Cert platform that you may be using in your production side of things, or if you're participating in a brand program that uses the Color Cert tools as well. And so the intent here is what you're able to do now is take this information that's existing in the Esko Web Center and create a package of information. We call it the CCJZ, the Color Cert Job Z. And what that has is the meta information and about the job, and it brings it into Color Cert, where then an operator is able to not have to rekey information that's already known, but just focus on the steps that need to be done once you get into Color Cert. So they're able to pick, for instance, the correct color order, correct color bar, assign the correct spectral values as necessary, but not having to rekey information that already exists in Web Center. And then once that job is ready to go, then you can continue on. You can run, measure, score on press using the regular means that you would for your color measurement and data collection. Now, what starts to get fun and new here is now when you actually upload to the scorecard server, if it came from a Web Center in this scenario, it knows which Web Center that it came from. And so you can enable it to actually send that information back to Web Center as well. So it will upload to the scorecard server and then in the background feed the information to Web Center so that the people who were doing the creation and that, originating that job don't have to log into multiple places. They can have the information served right up to the Web Center, and then of course can click through into Color Cert and download the job if they want to have a deeper dive into the data. But it saves them having to look in multiple places. It's all connected now in a very intuitive way. And so what that brings to the table really is a nice level of traceability. So again, when a job leaves Web Center, it knows where it came from, can go through production, and then feed that information back. So it just really increases that traceability piece of knowing where something came from, when it was produced, and then how well did it perform when it was in production. And then it also lends itself to increased visibility. So now people can see more easily in one place how something performed and get information about that job that they may need to make better decisions in their workflow from the beginning. What I'd like to share with you now is another video, and this is a demonstration of how all of this really works together. And so here on screen, you can see us starting with the Get Set job, and it's got 3 different versions of it, that green, orange, and blue. And so it's originating in Web Center, so we already have and know a lot of data about this job. We know the color order. We can select rules that it will print to. And here you see we can also go into each of these colors and start to select an analog, create the project from there, and it will bring us into Color Cert. And that's that part of the workflow I was telling you, bringing the CCJZ file in, so that meta information and anything that we selected around the production of it. For instance, you can see under Profile, there was one preloaded for the box, which is where we went to have this job printed. Is loaded in so that when you get into production, there's no rekeying, for instance, of the information. You're able to get right to it. And so what we did as part of these integration stories is just ahead of Esko World, we brought all three of these stories together, and we went to Bobst in Florence, Italy, to print these actual jobs, showing how we can flow it through the workflow. And so here what you see is the three different versions of the get set file loaded up and running here on the Flexo press. And the whole time, it's being, we're color managing and using ColorCert to keep track of how the color and the print quality aspects of it are reproducing. And the other thing we're able to do is really take advantage of our connection with the SpectraLab and the inspection systems. So this is going to take us over to the screen where you can see just being able to pull in that CCJ file natively into the control software for AVT. And then the operator can really get to the business of selecting the different reference points that they need to within that color bar, and being able to collect all of the data and a lot of measurement data really that you're just not able to capture, particularly in these roll-to-roll scenarios. If you're measuring offline, you would only be measuring at the end of a roll, where here now we're enabled to collect a lot more data real time about how this is actually printing live in production. That's a nice image there of the SpectraLab itself. And then here is showing the console as it's printing, watching these different reference points. And you'll be able to see that we're measuring different colors, measuring the substrate. All of this information is fed back into the ColorCert job that you're seeing here. What you're also seeing is a number of different roles that we're able to gather all of the information for. And again, using the common interface of ColorCert to keep track of it, to be able to deep dive and go and look at the results and understand how something performed. You can see here the best match functionality, which is quite popular, is able to be used as well. And so we can see how it's performing, and if we need to make a change, for instance, increase density, decrease density, that best match feature is feeding that information back. And once at the end of the job, it's collecting it and again sending it back to a scorecard server, where that report, as you can see here, is now available directly in Web Center with the scorecard value. For anyone not familiar with the scoring system, 51 is a pass. That's good. It's not like your traditional school grades. Some people think of it that way, but anything over 50 means that it actually passed and is printing within tolerance. To show you a little bit more, here is the setup, just diving a little bit specifically into how we can see these jobs, the scorecard reports. So this is within Web Center. We have a couple of others that we were able to show you another view of how it can show up in Web Center. Here you see there's that scorecard value of 84. If you want to know more about it, here's where you can click through, you get a thumbnail, you're able to see the PDF report itself, which has a lot of information about that job. You can open it up in Acrobat or any PDF reader really to get a view of it. And then if you do want to link over to the scorecard server, it can take you there as well. So that does bring us to the end of the three integrations that we wanted to share with you today. We do have an opportunity to do some Q&A. As Stephanie mentioned at the beginning, we have Avram from AVT and Geert with us from Esko. So if you want to take a minute, you can go into the question panel on the webinar interface and enter them in there, and we would be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Stephanie, any questions?
Not yet. It appears we had a pretty comprehensive presentation. We'll give the attendees another minute or so.
All right. Well, in the meantime, Geert or Avram, do you have any additional comments you may want to add while we give people a chance to fill out the question section?
No, maybe just one small thing is that these integrations are shown at Label Expo in Chicago, and of course we don't necessarily have the presses there, but we do have a press at the Comexi event, which we will hold on the 3rd of October with all 4 parties plus Comexi, of course, so that we can really show all of this not in a webinar but live on a press, a printing expanded gamut even. So that's maybe one thing. The other thing is that this is just establishing some very important base connections between the different products from the different parties here. But I think it's very important to understand that before long we'll be further built on this, because there is more to the packaging connected story than these. But these are the very important ones, as they are cornerstone integrations, of course, providing direct value as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point, is it's really establishing a lot of these kind of baseline integrations and connections so that we can do more, leverage more, because once they're actually connected, it enables us to add more functionality, which we do frequently get a lot of requests for how can we extend what we do. And I think we also have some really great examples of how there have been some folks coming out of Esko World where we were able to go on site and really do these integrations, in their production facilities and watch them run live. So we were able to get a lot of really good feedback from there, but also see it live in action pretty quickly in the field. All right. Well, I think that kind of wraps it up then. If there's no questions here on the webinar, I would encourage you to come visit us at Label Expo. We're going to be able to walk through and show all of these integrations at the booth, and all of our technical people and, of course, sales people will be available at the show to answer any questions that you have, or also even come visit and talk about how to take the next step with moving forward with some of these interesting advances. So thank you for your time today, and we appreciate you taking the time out to join us and talk to us about or listen to our integration and packaging connected story.
We did have one quick question come through.
Oh, wonderful.
Do you foresee integrating with BST in the future?
Well, the context of these stories really is about the value chain and how we are connecting with the different sister companies, Esko, AVT, and X-Rite. Now, X-Rite and Esko, well, quite frankly, all of the companies do integrate with other third-party companies, but the focus of the stories here today is how we're integrating with one another.
Great. Thanks, Cindy.
Thanks.
And it looks like that's about it. So thank you all for attending, and thank you, Cindy, Garrett, and Aviram for your support on the webinar. And as Cindy mentioned, please visit us at Label Expo or Comexi coming up soon here. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.